going on, everybody? This is MasterGuil and welcome back to Adastra. And today, officially, is my birthday. On the day of this recording, I am now 32 years old. I don't feel it just yet, but I probably will. But I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone, a paradox, or whatever it's called, where I generally don't feel older. Maybe if or when, Lord willing, I get into my 40s or 50s, then I'll really start to feel it. But generally, as of right now, I don't feel any older. I mean, talking about it, thinking about it, if something nostalgic were to come on, then I would start to feel old. But transitioning from 31 to 32, I don't feel it. Not just yet. I don't know when I'm going to feel it. Probably literally the next day. But anyway, yeah, it was my birthday, and I wanted to do this for my birthday. And by the time that I'm doing this, the first part is already uploaded. And for the last episode, from the last part, we were introduced to Marco the human. He was a student in Rome, going to take classes in art, culture, and things like that. And so Amicus came in and snatched him away from his family and friends. And now we're on a spaceship to what appears to be to his home planet, his home star, Adastra, roll credits, and we're trying to find a way out. But of course, in the last part, we get tased for the second time, and we're knocked unconscious. Windows XP logged out, and seems like we're coming to. So let's see what happens. But all I'm gonna say is, if it were me, I would not be in this situation. I was pretty tilted at how this transitioned to this in the last one, because why would you take your eyes off the main threats? Why would you not make sure that they are staying true to the word, even if you don't know what the hell is on the cockpit, on the gadgets and the displays that you see? Pay very close attention. Look for signs. Look for anything. As I said, use the gadget on his arm against him if you're able to disarm him. Like, he doesn't think that much of you, so you should use that to your advantage and get the upper hand and make sure that he's taking you back to your planet and not waiting for him to settle past you in the most subtle way and then hit you with a trank and knock your ass out again. That's all I'm saying. That couldn't be me. I will not be in this predicament. That's all I'm saying. I'm going down swinging. I'm putting up a fight, getting the 1-2 piece combo. They're going to be on life support. I'm calling the cops. You're going to be taken to the government to be experimented on, being like, who the hell are you? What are you doing here? Why are you trying to take my mans away to whatever galaxy or whatever star that you're trying to say that you're from? What is your mission? Are you a threat? Etc., etc. But I digress. I'm getting off track. Let's get back into this. And so we should be waking up. We're probably still unconscious. I float in a void of nothingness, not even blackness, nothingness. The feeling of having no sense of self, the boundaries of my being having no boundaries. It makes me panic. I'm still here, but nothing else exists. Am I all there is? I feel the borders of my sanity start to bend and break. That sounds like Dr. Strange. It only lasts a moment before something massive and all-encompassing grabs a hold of me. Instantly, I'm comforted, calmed by a sense of complete security. All is as it should be. Oh yeah, we're back here again. I crack my eyes open to a gray ceiling, the familiar hum of the ship in my ears. My back aches as I feel my hands bunched up underneath me, making me arch uncomfortably. The numbness isn't there like last time. Instead, it just feels like I woke up from a deep sleep. I can tell I'm back in a utility closet laying on a shag rug, but the door is open, allowing me to actually see. Slowly, I turn my head just a bit and I'm able to vaguely make out the small deck that I'd just been in. I see Amicus on the far right, both his paws resting on the counter with the food dispenser, looking down on the panel. He's got his back to me at an angle, one foot crossed behind the other, his tail swishing back and forth while he mumbles to himself. As slowly as I can, I turn over onto my side, trying not to let out a groan of relief as my back and hands are relieved of pressure. I grimace through the pain of having blood rush back into my fingers. That's when I realize that my hands are tied at the wrists behind my back with a cord of some kind. The ends of it dangle through my fingers, and it feels smooth and metallic. Some slow movements with my hands tells me immediately that they haven't been tied well. My left hand is fairly secure, but the loop around my right is loose. And just like that, it comes out. My shoulder jerks when I do it, and I freeze, waiting to see if Amicus might notice. He goes on staring down at the panel, leaning forward to rest his chin on a fist. Cassius is probably going to figure out right away. I know it. Who is Cassius? Amicus sighs and hunches over further. I let out the breath I'm holding as quietly as I can before I start looking around, moving my head as little as possible. On the shelves are a variety of different objects that I can't identify. I don't know if you all can hear this in the background. I don't know if my microphone is picking this up, but today it's extremely windy. And honestly, that is a first for my birthday. Well, earlier it was snowing like crazy. It was like a very light blizzard, and we did get like a half an inch of snow, like a nice little coating. And hopefully that gets blown away soon. As I said in the last episode, why did I have to have a cold birthday? I mean, I'm grateful and I'm blessed to actually see my birthday, but still. They all have a heavy industrial look to them, and I know that I could use any of them as a weapon. There's a long pipe-like object at the end of the bottom shelf, and I imagine hefting that in both hands, bringing the end of it down on the top of that stupid wolf's. Amicus suddenly straightens up, and I stiffen, closing my eyes. I hear the wolf move, padding in my direction. That continues until there's a pause, and I can feel his pressure standing in the doorway. I crack open an eye, just a tiny bit to see what he might be doing. I get a vague image of him standing over me, looking down. Hello? Human? Marco? I don't move, and I breathe as evenly as I can. Hello? He must know I'm awake. I can feel myself shaking from all the tension. Damn it. Amicus mumbles to himself as he turns away, moving back towards the deck. That's when I realize that this might be my best chance to make my move. He's not going to take me back. He's knocked me out twice, and has reason enough to do what I'm about to do. At any rate, I see the reasoning, but just incapacitate him. Do not kill him. If you kill him, you are cooked. You cannot figure out how to work the ship. If that's the case, you're stranded in the depths of space and time forever. So yeah, I see the reasoning. Just make sure that you don't kill the guy, because you need him to get back. As quietly as I can, I roll over and reach out for the metal pipe. By some miracle, I manage not to clang it against the metal rack it's on again. Quietly, I bring it up in both hands as I stand. It's heavy, a lot heavier than I expected, but I can manage it. I can imagine him just holding it like Link holds the Big Goron sword from OOT, or the Great Fairy sword from MM. I can imagine. I focus on the retreating wolf's back and move at a half run. My bare feet allow me to quietly pat toward him. Despite that, I see his ears come up at the last second. His body's starting to shift in the way that tells me he's about to turn around. I'm curious, is there no reflections on the windows here? On the glass here? Is there no reflections? It doesn't look like it, because I feel like if there were, then Amicus, if he wasn't fully paying attention to the control panel, he should be able to see our reflection just like inching towards him, and that will give him enough time to turn around and counter. And I swing. What happens next is something I can't explain. I aim for his head, wanting to cause as much damage as possible, not really thinking about the consequences of what might happen if I seriously injure or kill him. You should! You don't want to kill him, as I just got finished explaining. You don't want to kill him. You want to at least incapacitate him, but not severely injure, but just injure enough so to get a point across. You still need him to get home. But for some inexplicable reason, the trajectory of my swing suddenly dips down, as if caused by some invisible magnet, making me miss Amicus's head. That sounds like a skill issue. That strange force doesn't lessen the power of my swing though, and it carries through to land with a hard, meaty thump into the side of the wolf's thick neck. Ah! Amicus cringes, both paws moving to cover the back and side of his neck, dropping into a crouch. He looks back at me, his eyes wide and wild, an expression that sends a shot of fear into my body. I suddenly see him as a wild animal, a wild, scared, and very angry animal. I raise the pipe again, over my head to bring down onto the head I just missed. But Amicus is fast. He leaps up from the crouch in an upward and forward motion straight into my chest. I wheeze, but manage to stay on my feet as the wolf carries me backwards to slam against the wall of the deck. Amicus snarls into my face, teeth bare, one eye wincing shut. I struggle, but there's no way. He handles me like a rag doll, like a toy. This must be how someone feels during a wild animal attack, completely helpless, suddenly wondering why evolution left us so damn defenseless. What the hell are you doing? Ah! Amicus yells at me as he lets go of one of my wrists and puts a paw to his neck, cringing as he does. Damn it! I struggle with my freed hand, grabbing Amicus's face and trying to gouge his eyes and nose. The wolf immediately lets go of his neck and grabs the pipe. He wrenches it away, but I try to hold on and almost get lifted off my feet. He swings it one way, then violently in the other direction, throwing me to the floor of the deck as I lose my grip on my weapon. Amicus advances on me as I lay flat on my back, staring up at him wide-eyed, realizing how big of a mistake I've made thinking I could handle a 7-foot-tall muscle-bound wolf. I wonder if he's going to come at me with a pipe, but he throws it to the side. He starts to lean over me, still snarling. You little prick! This time I'll bind you up to your shoulders. How does that sound? He grabs up one of my arms, trying to pull me up, but I go limp. Get up! Otherwise I'll make you! He grabs my other arm. That's when I notice his wide stance over me and a particular bulge between his legs. Okay, you didn't have to say that, but yeah. I hardly think about it, drawing back 1 foot as I launch it as hard as I can into his crotch. Oh, god dang! I feel a distinctly soft form getting flattered under my foot as it gets trapped between the force of my kick and a substantial weight of Amicus's body. If there was any doubt in my mind that this male alien would be affected any differently compared to a male human, his reaction quashed it. Amicus freezes, eyes wide, hunching over me even further while his thighs snap together, trapping my foot. We both stay frozen for an awkward length of time and I stare at what I just done. That's when I see the device hanging from his wristband, the one that he'd been using to knock me out. I struggle to pull my foot free from the surprisingly tight embraces of his thighs, while at the same time pulling my hands out of his now limp grasp. I reach for his waist, grab his waist. Okay. I reached for his waist, grabbing the device. I thought it was on his wrist. Amicus, probably distracted by the unexpected nut shot, doesn't seem to notice that I finally yanked my foot free. As I stumble to my feet, the alien half-heartedly grabs at me, and I struggle against his paws before reaching for his red cape and pulling it over his head. Amicus finally stumbles back, one paw flying to his crotch, the other struggling with his cape as he stays bent over, mouth hanging open, making a weird gasping sound like he was holding his breath. I look at the device in my hands, desperately trying to understand how to use it. A glass panel takes up most of the face of the device, like a phone, but 2 metal prongs stick out one end. I frantically push at the screen and it comes to life, displaying a vertical bar. About 1/10 of it is filled from the bottom with a light blue color. I push at it with my thumb, waiting for something to happen, for electricity to start arcing between the prongs or something. Instead, the bar fills with the slide of my thumb. I push it all the way up until the color turns a dark violet. I heard a snarl and see Amicus finally tear the cape off before he comes at me again. One paw is still over his crotch, the other reaching out for me. I don't have time to think. I just duck under his approaching paw and press the prongs as hard as I can into his body. It sinks into his stomach and I hear the wolf make a hoof sound into my ear. There's a pause and nothing seems to happen. Then I press harder and squeeze the device and the result is instant. There's no sound, but Amicus's body seizes violently, shaking as if he's having a seizure. The muscles in his stomach tense hard and push the device back out a few inches. I hold it there, not wanting to let up in case it isn't enough, in case he'll just recover and come at me again. After a few seconds, the wolf seizing and shuddering stops on his own. I start to pull back and get a glimpse of Amicus's face. His muzzle hangs open, foam and drool hanging from his chin, his eyes rolling back in his head. It's a scary sight, so I try to back away and Amicus comes with me, the contact with the device having been the only thing keeping him balanced. Oof! Dang. His weight takes me down, and the next thing I know is that I'm flat on my back, struggling to breathe as Amicus's incredible weight crushes me into the metal deck. He practically envelops me with his soft furry body, his big head resting on my chest. I stare down at him, watching as his black lips and eyelids twitch, his tongue hanging out as he makes sporadic snorting sounds. I gasp and strain as I spend the next minute working myself out from under him, grimacing as his foamy drool smears on my chest. Ew. Finally, I manage to break free from his dead weight and crawl a few feet away, spending the next few moments catching my breath. I look back at his still twitching form, his rump sticking slightly up in the air. I wonder how long I have before he wakes up. There's a long, shiny, thin cord around my left wrist, and I start to work at the knot. It's a strange material, smooth and metallic, yet it bends as easily as rope. It's a pain in the ass to get it undone, though. It's like the dumb wolf just put as many knots into it as he could. He probably had no idea what he was doing, and now it makes sense why I was able to get out of it so easily. While I was undoing the mess, I keep looking over at him. The twitches and snorts are subsiding, which I'm not sure is a good thing or not. Come on! I grunt as I finally pull the last tangle out, straightening the metal rope thing out in both my hands. I look between it and the knocked out wolf in front of me, giving my head a little shake. What in the world is even happening? I get to work, planting my butt on Amicus as I pull both of his paws behind his back. I have some difficulty keeping my balance as I lift his heavy arms and start winding the rope around his wrists. I'm not exactly an expert at tying hands behind backs either, but I feel far more confident in my work than Amicus ever should have in his own. I guess his carelessness makes some sort of sense considering I'm a tiny human and he's a giant canine. He probably thought he'd just be able to toss me back in the closet if I got free. I look over my work, somewhat satisfied with how neat and tight the binding is. I shift and almost slide off the wolf's butt, forcing me to put my hands back and steady myself on his thighs. They're thick and heavily muscled, and that makes me realize that they might also be a problem. While binding his arms is a start, I have no doubt in my mind he'd be able to take me out with a few nasty kicks. You really think that he's a martial artist? I stand up and start looking around for more of that rope, but that's when I notice something strange happening outside the windows. Then streaks of white light stretch and bend, moving slowly from the front before arcing in long lines to the sides and disappearing from sight. I stare, mesmerized, then suddenly feel sick at the sight. I avert my eyes, looking at the wall while I watch the strange light show out from the corner of my eye. Are those stars? Are we in some sort of wormhole? Or what was it called? Hyperspace? I start to get the feeling I'm very, very far from Earth now, which makes me feel even more sick. I want to keep my mind off of it, so I set about searching the deck for more of that metal rope, trying to ignore what we might be moving at the speed of light into the depths of space. I don't have much luck. Most everything in the ship is flush to its surface with very few moving parts. I end up going back to the utility closet, and that's when I see that metal polygon with the long cord sticking out of it, the one I had knocked off the shelf earlier. You mean the GameCube microphone? Is that what you're looking at? I lean over and pull at it, deciding that it should hold, even if it's more plasticky and not metal. 5 minutes later, and I have his legs bound together. I search around for the taser for another minute before finding it pinned between Amicus's chest and the deck. I'm hot and sweaty as I finally sit back against the opposite wall, staring at the face-down wolf and his bindings. I need to address this. Are we on autopilot? Because since Amicus is knocked out, I don't know if he was steering or not, if he was in control or not, but is this on autopilot? Because if it's not on autopilot, we're probably crashing somewhere. A meteor, another planet, a star, something, somewhere. I weigh the taser in my hand, going over scenarios in my mind for what I'm going to say to him when he wakes up. I'm not sure how long it takes, an hour, maybe 2, before Amicus starts to stir. First he groans, then he rolls over a few times, then draws up his bound legs before trying to work his paws free. Finally, he opens his eyes, and because he's on his side, I'm the first thing he sees. He squints, frowns, then groans again, turning over onto his stomach. Oh, what the hell? I clear my throat and swallow, trying not to show how nervous I am. Yeah, what the hell? You tased me again! What? Amicus turns his head to look at me again, then looks away, letting out another groan. Oh, my stomach! What did you do? Exactly what you did to me. I hold up my taser, turning it in the light so that the wolf can fully see it. Amicus stares at it for a moment before letting his face fall back into the floor of the deck. Oh, gods! I feel like I'm on fire! Did you use it at full power? What the hell is wrong with you? Despite my fear and anxiety over this entire situation, I'm able to feel indignant. Me? You did the same to me! Then lied to me, and then tased me again! Then tied me up! You're crazy! I would never use full power on anyone! Ugh! Amicus seems to ignore my rant as he rolls onto his back, arching over his tied paws, probably stretching out the muscles that I hit with the taser. I wait a while longer, listening to the grunts, groans, and complaints as Amicus continues to whine. I'm not that stupid, though. I can tell he's stalling for time, trying to figure out a way to get out of this. I stand up. Take me home. Amicus opens one eye, glaring at me. What? I said, take me home. Amicus goes quiet for a moment, his eyes close, then he forces himself to sit up, visibly cringing as he's forced to use his stomach muscles. He scoots back with more complaints until he plants his back against the wall behind him. I see his shoulders shift, his biceps bulging, and can tell that he's working and testing the restraints. I raise the taser. Stop moving or I'm going to hit you again. Piss off! I move toward him, brandishing the taser like a sword. Hey! Amicus kicks his feet up and trying to block my attack. Now I see the real fear in his eyes. Then stop moving and tell me how we get back. I don't really want to shock him again. It did look really painful, and on top of that, I don't want to knock him out for hours while our little ship is hurling through space. Amicus glares at me for a moment, his feet still in the air before he slowly lowers them. Oh. I'll show you if you let me go. I actually laugh at the sound, and it seems to startle the wolf. Are you kidding me? Why should I trust you at all after what you've done to me? Amicus's ears flatten. Tell me where the hell you're taking me and why, otherwise I will zap you again. What? He seems at a loss for words. I can't tell you that. I glare and for a moment I consider just jabbing him again right then and there. Why not? The wolf remains silent as he looks away from me. I feel myself getting even more angry. I'm tired of this alien holding me hostage. Well, I guess I'll just have to figure it out on my own then. I turn away and start moving towards the front of the deck. Amicus shifts around behind me. What? You don't know the first thing about this ship. Don't! The big wolf grunts as he tries to get to his feet under him. Don't touch anything! I ignore him and move to the panels, looking them over. The big one in the middle looks promising as I start poking at it. I know I won't be able to figure out how to turn the ship around, but the wolf's worry over me touching the panels gives me an idea. I could probably mess things up to the point where he'll have to tell me what he's doing, or even how I might be able to get back. There aren't many other options aside from torturing him, so that I don't really want to do. The lines and shifts move with my finger, and Roman numerals pop up randomly here and there. Hey, what are you doing? Amicus huffs and puffs behind me, just as a circle appears and compresses around my finger, like it's zeroed in on something. I look back to see Amicus hobbling up onto his tied together feet, looking just about ready to topple over. You have no idea what... I feel a soft vibration under my finger, not unlike my phone's haptic feedback. Overriding sleep mode, locked onto Stella 556425. No! Come! Stop last directive! Voice commands for piloting are reserved for the Emperor Amicus. Human, stop! Amicus starts hopping toward me on his bound feet, and I scramble to the side so he doesn't run into me. No! The wolf stares down at the panel, and I look out the window as the stars seem to curve all the way to my right, making me feel sick again, and the next thing I know... Oh, is that the sun? Oh no! The cabin is lit up by an ominous red glow. The window suddenly tints, blocking the worst of the light, and that's when I'm able to see a massive ball of fire in front of the ship. The size of it is incredible. Orbital trajectory will intersect with photosphere. Ensure safety straps are in place, making corrective maneuvers. I only have a moment to wonder what the hell Calm is talking about before Amicus and I are thrown sideways to the left window of the ship. The impact is almost cushioned by Amicus' body, and I hear him yell and curse under me. Move! Get in the seats! I struggle to reach out to the seat in front of me, but I can barely lift my hand. The gravity of the star is so powerful, it feels like it's going to suck out my soul. Then I'm suddenly boosted by something behind me, and I look back, the movement making me feel like my neck is going to break. I see Amicus with his back planted against the window, his feet pushing me up to the seat. I manage to grab the armrest and pull myself into it. Now the left armrest is digging painfully into my back, making it feel as a professional wrestler is slamming me into a backbreaker. Amicus jumps from the window, high enough that his feet land against the right side of my chair. Then he jumps again, managing to wedge himself in the footwell of the opposite seat. Heat shields are compromised. Expect heat damage to the outer layer of the ship in 30 seconds. With a great deal of snarling and gasping, he pushes himself awkwardly into the seat, both feet planted against the panels in front of him for leverage. He turns to me, teeth bare, a determined look in his eyes. Look at your right armrest. Do you see the green panel between the red buttons? Through the shock, I somehow able to understand him and look down. Now, drag your finger across it to the left. It will steer the ship. I feel panic starting to rise in my chest at the idea of steering a freaking spaceship. What? Just do it! Point us away from that star! I do as I'm told, sliding a thumb gingerly over the green panel, and slowly the ship turns, pointing away from the star, shifting the incredible force of gravity until it's pulling us back into the seats. Now see that lever in between us? Yeah! Pull it down! Now reaching my hand out is almost impossible as it gets pulled back toward the star behind us. Gritting my teeth, I lean forward as hard as I can, practically throwing myself forward and grabbing onto the lever. Then gravity does the rest of the work and the lever comes down hard. I lose my grip and get thrown back into my seat. The gravity increases twofold, and for a moment it feels like my entire body is being crushed into a pancake. And then the burning orange light is gone, and the deck goes black. Running diagnostics. Amicus? Yes, com? Damage to the ship is severe. Recovery mode is required. Enter recovery mode. Stand by. Oh. That was an adventure. Well, not an adventure. That was a moment. Oh man, you gotta understand and appreciate the sort of situations where two people that don't like each other, don't understand each other, and force them to work together, and that creates the start of a bond or something or some sort. We sit in silence for a long time. I lean against the seat with both feet drawn up to my chest, feeling numb and shaky. I also feel stupid, embarrassed, and kind of guilty. On one hand, I nearly just got us both killed. But on the other hand, this crazy alien almost killed me by bringing me here in the first place. At least it feels that way. I still don't know what his ultimate plan is with me. I wonder for the 100th time if I'm going to wake up. I pluck my nose and try to breathe through my nostrils. No air comes through. I sigh and look out the window, at the blue globe that we found ourselves in. The star we just escaped is far away now, though it's still an almost blinding tiny orb far to my left, kind of like the sun was not too long ago. It's lighting up all this dust that's around us in an eerie blue glow. It's kind of calming. I look over at Amicus and see him slumped in his chair, looking out the window. His shoulders are hunched, ears drooping, and his head down. He's on the edge of his seat because his arms are still tied behind his back, forcing him to lean forward a bit. Com hasn't spoken since we went into recovery mode, and the ship hasn't moved at all. The usual hum isn't even there. It's like everything is turned off. I finally decide to break the silence. I wonder what we're going to say. Amicus? I see his ears flick, but he keeps his hair down, not even looking at me. I swallow, then try again. Amicus. I see his shoulders rise and fall into a deep sigh, but he keeps silent. I'm about to just give up and slump back in my seat when he suddenly responds. What? What's happening? The whoop turns to glare at me. What do you mean what's happening? You broke the ship. He turns away and continues to sulk. I feel a little anger at that, and I realize that this alien isn't alien at all. He's acting just like an upset human kid that didn't get his way. It makes me a little less afraid of him. Excuse me? Do I have to go through the list of crap that you just did to me? Amicus turns to me again, and I can almost see his mind working to think of some sort of comeback. Well, I think you topped it by nearly throwing us into a star, human. You shouldn't have kidnapped me in the first place, wolf. I should be calling you Chow since that's what you are. Well, this Chow outsmarted you, zapped you, and tied you up. I see him bristle, the hackles rising on his shoulders like a dog. You could have killed me. That setting is meant for creatures 3 times my size. How was I supposed to know? I don't know anything about what's going on. I told you what's going on. You really think I'm stupid, don't you? Amicus pouts and turns away again. I think you thought I was some stupid alien you could just take advantage of. I could tell you've been lying to me this whole time. No, you didn't. Like maybe 75%, 75% of it you thought it was, I don't know. Amicus flattens his ears even more, shoulders bunching up. Is that what you and your people do? Kidnapping and lying to everyone you meet? Now his hackles really rise up and he turns to me fast. I try not to lean back. Despite the similarities, he's still a wolf, and those teeth are terrifying. I do not lie. The wolf's righteous indignation seems to deflate. The situation is too complicated for you to understand. I glare at him. Who's tied up again? Amicus didn't take the bait this time and remains slumped. I guess it doesn't matter now. We're probably going to die out here with how badly the ship is burned. That makes my stomach twist a bit. I want to ask him if he's just moping or he'll actually think we're going to die, but another long moment of silence stretches between us. I look out the window again, at the towering clouds of dust in front of us. Well, if that's the case, then can you just tell me what's going on? Amicus goes on staring out his window. I sigh and lean back, resigned to the idea that I might not ever know why I was dragged out to space to simply get stuck and die in the dust cloud. Then Amicus speaks. I made some mistakes. I glance at him, waiting, and I wanted to say anything in case he stops talking. I didn't know your species wasn't part of the Galaxias. It's very illegal to make first contact without authorization from a parent. Parent? The authorities of the galaxy. I frown and Amicus looks at the confusion on my face. How can I put this simply? There are 3 levels in the Galaxias. At the very top are the parents. They arrive from beyond our galaxy to spread their culture here. Amicus glances at me. You know what a galaxy is? That there are others outside of our own? Yeah? Amicus lets out a breathy chuckle. Of course. I probably should have expected that. So you must know that the intergalactic travel is incredibly advanced, almost godlike, and that's what they are. Gods. There are 8 of them that are still present in our galaxy, though they rarely communicate with us these days. Then there are the siblings. That's what my species are a part of. The galaxy was scoped out by the parents at the very start to find the most intelligent and capable species. They even selected one, and we were the ones chosen and uplifted by the Romanus. The note of pride in Amicus's voice is obvious. From then on, it has been our mission to increase intelligence in promising species and to teach them our philosophy and culture to uplift. I try to make sense of that in terms I can understand. So you spread their culture for the parents? They're like your god and your species are like missionaries? Amicus shrugs. Yeah, sort of like that. That doesn't sound so great, especially when I compare it to things that have happened on Earth. Mass galactic assimilation. So, why are they doing this? If they got here at the same time and did the same thing, does that mean they're working together? Amicus shakes his head. We don't really know all the reasons for what the parents do, but we compete with the other siblings. But that brings me to the rest of the sapiens in the galaxy, the children. The siblings uplift these children and bring them into our fold under the direction of our parents. Again, they haven't told us exactly what's going on, but we came to the conclusion that it's some sort of competition, as we mean to win for our parents. So I'm a child? Well, no, not really. I've been calling you that, but you're not part of the Galaxias, and that's where I've made my mistake. Ooh, change a picture. Like I said, it was illegal for me to contact you, but I didn't know. How did you not know that? Shouldn't you have a record of these type of stuff? That's the confusing part of me. I found Earth in the library, so there was a record of it, but there wasn't much, just a few footnotes about a sapient species there. But because that record exists, I know that your species was uplifted to child status at some point. In Rome? Presumably, but sometimes the species is unable to be uplifted for different reasons. Too aggressive, too docile, too unintelligent. Amicus glances at me. I thought this is what happened to your species. Then if we've been uplifted, doesn't that mean you've already made first contact? Yes, but you're still not part of the Galaxias. That's why I made the mistake. You should know about it, but you don't. Knowledge of other intelligent life is sacred, and for whatever reason your species lost it. So it doesn't matter that we've made contact before. If the knowledge of the Galaxias has been lost, then any form of communication between us is first contact all over again. And while uplift has been cancelled with species in the past, we don't completely cut off contact. They're permanently part of the Galaxias. I've never heard of something like this happening before, so I panicked. Come, Amicus glances at the ceiling. Wasn't able to tell me that until he connected to your nexus. Nexus? Another word that doesn't translate. Like, the technology that connects places, people, information. The internet? If that's your word for it. So, I try to understand everything I'm being told. Why didn't you just tell me about all this before you kidnapped me or knocked me out? I see Amicus's ears flatten as he looks away, clearly ashamed. I don't know. I didn't fully understand the intelligence of your species yet. I thought I could just lead you to believe things. I don't say anything and Amicus shifts uncomfortably. Leaving you on Earth after you saw me? You might have gone to the authorities on your planet with that knowledge, which might have led to a monitor being alerted. Amicus answers my question before I can even ask. Monitors are basically the eyes and ears of the parents. They monitor the galaxy. And what happens if they're alerted? He sighs deeply. I don't know. It hasn't happened in a long time, and I don't think anyone has ever broken this particular law. It's one of the most important laws we're supposed to follow. No, and I've broken it. Amicus pauses. Scared you? He shakes his head but doesn't say anything. I try to piece it all together in my head. So then you panicked and kidnapped me. It was either that or kill you. Oh my god. I'm so sorry about that. My middle finger that's on the right click button on my mouse just instinctively does that. I'm so sorry. It was either that or kill you, or leave you and hope for the best, but that was a risk that I felt I couldn't take at the time. Amicus seems to shrink in his seat, and I guess I didn't want to tell you because I knew I disrupted your life in a terrible way. I thought I might be able to make you forget and want to stay with me if you saw my home. But why? Why did you do it in the first place? What do you want from me? Amicus looks at me for a long while, probably debating on how much to tell me. Then he turns away. I needed a pet. Excuse me? My reaction exactly, especially for the last part. I said, you're what now? Excuse me? I am nobody's pet. Hold on now. You got this twisted. Back up. Hold on. Amicus shrinks up even more in his chair. It's a very long story. I glare at the back of his head. Well, if we're going to be here for a while then, I have time. Amicus goes on staring at the window. My father was the emperor. The throne was mine to take, but my brother has challenged me, so now we're both competing for it. Amicus looks at me out the corner of his eye for my reaction. His expression tells me I should be impressed, but learning he might be an influential figure among his people doesn't really seem too crazy after the events of the past day or so. And getting a pet will help you how? My brother has one. A sibling species, which means that his pet is on the same level of the hierarchy as us. I frown. Oh? And that's unusual? Definitely. It shouldn't even be legal, but somehow he negotiated it. They signed a contract and everything. I shake my head. So what does having a pet do? Amicus shrugs. It's a good status symbol to have. The fact that my brother was able to attain such a prestigious pet shows his skill as negotiation and has put me at a huge disadvantage. I need to do something even more grand to impress my father's advisor. He's the one that would choose between us. By kidnapping me, he growls. That wasn't part of the plan. I thought you know what I was and be amazed that a wolf had come back to your species. I was going to make a deal with you, like my brother did with his pet. I wanted a sapient that no one has seen in a long time. So that's why I'm here. To be used as some pawn in some power struggle in some alien empire far away? So why can't you take me back? What if I promise not to say anything? I would take you back if I could. I realize now that that would have been the better option, but I can't. Why not? First of all, the ship might be damaged beyond repair. Secondly, there isn't enough power to get back. Earth was on the outer reaches of how far I could travel. I need the rest to return home. I managed to stop myself from telling the wolf that all this was his fault and shouldn't be my problem at all. Well, can we get more power when we get to your home and then go back to Earth? No, it's a type of power that the parents produce. We're not able to harness it yet. So get more from them for whatever you got the power from in the first place. Amicus leans his head against the headrest. Our parents authorizes and distributes it, and for whatever reason, they stopped supplying it when we lost our emperor. I feel myself growing more and more frustrated. Then how the hell are you using it now? A moment of silence goes by. This was my father's ship. Only the emperor has constant access to the technology. I borrowed it to get you. You stole his ship? I glare at him. Exactly. You mean you stole it? You know, you're pretty dishonest for someone who says they never lie. Another soft rumbling growl from him. Times are desperate. Ask your dad to take me back then. If you didn't gather from earlier, he's dead, so no one has access to it right now. I'm just using what was left. I stare at Amicus for a while, words failing me. Listen, I didn't want to do all these things I did to you. I'm protecting us both. Oh, really? Yes, I was planning to bring you to the palace to live a good life and forget your old one. And then when you started asking those questions, I realized your intelligence is much higher than I thought it would be. Then Calm thought you might attack me. I made mistakes. Amicus lets out another huge sigh and slumps in the seat, looking away. Several minutes go by in silence, both of us staring out into the eerie blue. So what now? What are your plans? Amicus is the one to laugh this time. Get out of these bonds if you let me. I look at him incredulously. He sighs. Listen, you have no idea how to handle this ship. I can at least run diagnostics to see what we can do about this. What's to stop you from knocking me out again? If you don't attack me or hit me with the Nervo again, then I won't have to. I look to my left armrest and pick up the little taser device. This? He eyes it uneasily. Yeah. How can I trust you after everything that's happened? I give you my word. I frown. And you could go back on it just as easily. I would never do that. I don't make promises lightly, Marco. Amicus is so indignant that I actually believe him. Or he's just a really good actor. Either way, I'm going to have to let him go at some point, especially if we really can't get back to Earth. So I made my decision. If I let you go, you have to find a way to get me back to Earth. Amicus thinks for a moment. I could do that if I become Emperor. And how long will that take? He shrugs. A few months if all goes well. With your help, it could be even faster. You're very clever. More intelligent than some wolves I know even. Months? My parents are probably freaking out by now. School starts in a few weeks. All these things seem so distant now. Amicus frowns. I'm sorry, but I can't do anything. I need to be an emperor to even talk to the parents. I think, but again, I don't have many options. I look Amicus in the eye. You promise? You have my word. For a moment I sit there, contemplating. Then I sit up straight. All right, stand up. Amicus perks up those hoops to his bound feet, almost falling over. I'm sure to place the Nervo close by behind me, just in case. A few minutes later, and the whoop is free. We both regard each other wearily for a few moments before Amicus finally sighs. Listen, I have no reason to incapacitate you now that you know everything. But if it makes you feel better, you can hang on to the Nervo until we get to Adastra. That's a fair exchange? I look back at the little device. While I have little reason to trust Amicus, the wolf has virtually no reason to trust me. I consider it, then shake my head. Can we put it away somewhere? I'd rather just not be thinking about it. Amicus looks at me in surprise, then rubs his stomach where I jabbed him. Okay, yeah, that sounds like a deal to me. Amicus holds out his paw as I look down at the thick black pads on his fingers and palm before picking up the Nervo and handing it to him carefully. For a moment, I imagine him immediately turning the thing toward and jabbing it in my face, but instead he turns and walks toward the back of the ship. I notice it stands slightly bow-legged and he adjusts himself a few times. That makes me feel a little guilty about fighting dirty earlier. No. I mean, yes, but no. Not in that situation, at least. Shoot. But only a little. On his way, he sweeps up his cape in one fluid motion before wrapping it around his shoulders. Then he moves to the back wall, and sticking out a paw, he presses the panel, and a small portion of the wall slides back, revealing another smaller room. From where I am, I can see what looks like a little coot in various cupboards. He opens one of these and places the Nervo inside before shutting it. He comes back out and notices me staring. That's my quarters. It's where I sleep. If you need to urinate or whatever else you do. There's a toilet in there. I'm fine for now. I feel my stomach gurgle, something that it's been doing for a while now. I am a little hungry, though. Amicus raises a brow. You want to try it again? Sure. It's not the worst food I've ever had. The earthy smell translates into the taste, but there's a strange hint of sweetness to it, like chocolate, and that makes it a little bit more palatable. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I guess it's good. I can at least swallow it down without gagging, so that's good, I guess. Amicus has his own cup, though he's paying more attention to the panels than his food. I may have been exaggerating a bit earlier. Damage appears to be minimal. We're actually lucky that you didn't lock onto something worse like a pit. There was one very near that star. A pit? Amicus shrugs, waving his hand in the air as if brushing my question aside. A very strong gravitational singularity that sucks everything up around it. Like a black hole? Black hole? Like its gravity so powerful that even light gets pulled into it. That's why they're black. Amicus looks at me in surprise. Huh, you know what that is? Guess I should stop being surprised, honestly. You humans really are something. You basically uplifted yourselves. I shrug. We touched on it in my Astronomy 101 class. I don't know much about them. But the fact that your species found out about them in the first place. Anyway, Amicus presses a button before suddenly the hum of the ship comes back to life. Systems back online. And Amicus pulls the lever and suddenly the blue disappears and the windows are filled with warping stars again. I immediately look away, feeling the chocolate mud starting to work its way up to my throat. We were actually almost at Adastra when you took control. Amicus rubs the side of his neck, wincing as he stretches it out. Should be there fairly soon. What is this? I wave my hand at the window, not looking. The bending light? It's the stretch drive. Basically, space is being shortened ahead of us. Amicus puts his paws together in front of himself and stretched out behind us. He stretches his paws out wide. I don't really know how it works. Only the parents can build this kind of tech, and it's the only way I could get to Earth, or anywhere outside our star system, really. They even figured out a way to make time stand still around us when we travel, otherwise way too much work would have passed back home. Okay, they know how to control time. That's like many anime characters that we know that controls time. I'm starting to get a picture of how powerful these parents actually are, being capable of warping space and time to their will. So, how much more time? Arriving at Stella Vita. And just like that, the stars become still again. Amicus grins. Welcome to Adastra, Marco. I look out the window and see a large green and blue sphere shimmer below me. Beyond it is another globe, this one chalky and gray. A smaller and even brighter orb floats further to the right, its color almost pure white. Amicus points at the more Earth-like sphere. That specifically is Adastra. The planet to the left is Anchorus. There aren't many people there aside from miners. I gotta be careful how I say that. The smallest is Torque, another moon. I know you live on a planet, so Adastra might seem a bit small to you. I press a hand to the window and notice that it's ice cold. Looks pretty big from here. Amicus leans over the console and starts touching at the screen. Re-entry sequence engaged. Go ahead and put your safety straps on. Re-entry is never comfortable in smaller ships. I hurriedly do as he says, sitting down and trying to figure out the seatbelt. Eventually, Amicus has come over and helped, showing me how this strap just feeds into the slot. This automatically pulls the straps tightly across my waist and chest. As Amicus gets to his own seat, we start the curve around the darker side of Adastra. Okay, alright, I think that's a good place to stop. So, a lot of things have happened. We managed to get the upper hand of Amicus. We avoided near death from hurtling into a random ass sun. We had a bit of a moment. We're done figuring out what the purpose of Amicus kidnapping us. Apparently he wants Marco to be a pet to compete for the crown in our words, but in his words it needs to compete for being emperor. And apparently his brother has a pet that's helping him when being emperor, basically presidency. I don't know. And so we are now entering Adastra. So a lot has happened. This is a bit to take in, and I'm still all for it. This is getting very interesting. And for the next chapter, we'll be taking more a look at what Adastra looks like. So I hope to see you guys in the next episode. But thank you guys so much for watching and reading along with me. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. And until next time.